Market conditions remaining mildly bullish. We had a little bit of a reversal yesterday and then a good solid bounce. We'll take a look at that chart here on S&P 500. We've seen momentum not quite get back into that bullish trend zone, but working that direction, still stuck in this hold range, as well as breadth. Sentiment still towards the upper end of that range, has not moved a whole lot here, even with some of the shorter term volatility recently. Buy sell ratio, we are still continuing to see weakness there in the buy sell ratio 0.81, which means that we are less than 1, which means red is above green right here. So bears currently in control in this shorter term trend. We've seen that happen during on and off for the last few trends essentially, but this was not a real deep sell-off. We'll see if we get any consolidation right here. If we do get a breakout, let's look at S&P 500. It had a pretty nice reversal day yesterday. The last 2 days really where we saw some selling and then we saw buying come back in. Here we saw selling, we saw buying come back in. So this support area is definitely holding. There's some demand coming in right here. So we'll see if that springboards us to more upside. Some of the other markets, or I should say indices, like the Dow has just have really gotten pummeled here. And so it's got a lot more work to do. Similar price formations and patterns here, just at a little deeper retracement level on the Dow. So we'll see if we get some additional support here across the boards. We did see bonds have a pretty nice move here. The long-term bond TLT up 1.5% yesterday. We've talked about that pattern now down here at the bottom end of this trending range, and that we want to see bonds finding some support and ultimately working its way back up again. That means that interest rates are coming lower, and that's what the market is really wanting right here. So a good, a good constructive move right there. That pattern is also a really bullish pattern. When you have this low point here, you get this bottoming formation, then you get a higher low, and then you get some confirmation for that trend. So we could be seeing a shift here in bonds, but we've seen lots of starting and stopping here over the last 3 or 4 months. If we look at NASDAQ, continue to see strength here in technology names. Two nice real bottoming tail bars right here. Sectors, we'll see if we got any strength happening here in sectors. Not a whole lot. Kind of about where we've been out the last few days. A few of these sectors going back and forth between holds and sells, and not very many in that upper range. Still some weakness overall across the board in sectors as a whole. Commodities, let's look at silver. Seeing some support here now in silver, in that upper momentum range, some support around 27. Let's see if gold is still similar to that pattern, still holding up in that momentum zone as well, up slightly 1% or so yesterday. USO, which is oil, is continuing to weaken, and that also could be a good thing. Lower oil, higher bonds, which means lower interest rates, could also be the market could see that as a positive thing. So a pretty nice move in oil to the downside. Sometimes that does affect some of these other stocks, though, that have been doing well, like some of the oil names, but that has broken down through that 74 range. It could still find some support. It still could be a counter trend, corrective counter trend, and could find some support inside of this range now. From this swing low to this swing high point, retracing about 50%. Now it's working on that 618 retracement, still in that corrective counter trend zone where it could find some support and then ultimately move back up, with this being the trend. We'll see if that holds up here in USO. Let's take a quick look at some muscle stocks today. MicroStrategy, which is it moves with Bitcoin because they have most of their cash in Bitcoin. So it's really kind of a deceptive type of price pattern, because it really doesn't, the price doesn't move based on what the company does. It moves on what Bitcoin does. So, but that's popped back into that scan. If you're looking for that kind of a crypto type play, MSTR works well for that, particularly with Bitcoin, and that's showing back up in those new buy lists as well. TDS having a big move here. At 1 year time frame, you can see it's just clearing this upper range, so it could be a solid breakout there. It's a utility stock, wireless telephone stock here as well, showing it in that upper range. And Coinbase also, seeing Coinbase showing up in that new buy. It's got some volatility right here, similar to that other pattern that we just looked at. We've seen some miners come in here as well. We're seeing GameStop show up in some of the scans because it's getting crazy here again with that massive uptrend and retracement. I would steer clear of this one unless you want a little bit of a rodeo. That one is really, really, really volatile as well. Some nice trades there and there for you to consider for today. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.